The year started with optimism for Kenya's economy, with a projected growth of over 6.1% after a 0.3% contraction in 2020. The first quarter recorded a 0.7% GDP growth compared to 4.4% in the same period in 2020. The second quarter recorded an accelerated growth in GDP to 10.1% compared to a contraction of 4.7% during a similar period in 2020. During the second quarter of 2021, the country's accelerated growth rate was driven by rebounds in most economic activities from significant contractions in quarter 2 of 2020. The growth was also as a result of the easing of COVID-19 containment measures that facilitated the gradual resumption of economic activity.
In the second quarter of this year, our real GDP grew by 10.1%, the first such growth in the history of our economy.
Some of the sectors that supported the overall growth of the economy in the second quarter included manufacturing that grew 9.6%, education at a massive 67.6% after reopening of all learning institutions, transportation and storage at 16.9%, information and communication that grew 25.2%, and other service activities that expanded 20.2%. These bode the central bank's economic growth projection of 6.1% for 2021. The hospitality, tourism and aviation industries drove the bulk of the recovery of the economy. Data from Tourism Research Institute indicated that the industry lost about 1.2 million full-time jobs due to the pandemic shocks, translating into financial losses of 192 billion shillings in direct labor earnings and 500 billion shillings to the entire tourism value chain. In 2021, the government ramped up vaccination against COVID-19, instilling confidence in the public and wooing visitors from non-traditional source markets. Kenya's international tourist arrivals through its two major airports, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi and Moi International Airport in Mombasa, surged 489% in the third quarter compared to the same period of 2020. On October 20th, the dusk to dawn curfew was lifted and allowed free operation of hotels and other entertainment spots, giving a boost to the tourism sector. The expiry of tax relief measures in December 2020 powered KRA to collect more. In January, KRA collected 142 billion shillings against a target of 138 billion shillings, representing 6.7% growth over the same period in 2020. The economy continued picking up, and between July to September, the taxman collected 476 billion shillings, surpassing the financial year 2021-2022 target. KRA attributed the performance to improving macroeconomic environment, relaxation of COVID-19 containment measures, and sustained implementation of enhanced compliance efforts.
We have also been focusing on ensuring that we have an accountable workforce, a workforce that is subjected to a credible performance management framework that would support revenue mobilization. And as KRI working with NMS, we've been focusing on ensuring again we have a legal framework that is able to support effective revenue mobilization.
We are transforming Kenya Revenue from an authority to a service. We want to engage and continue engaging our stakeholders so that together we can have a common understanding of where we are going and how we are going to collect taxes.
It's not that we are increasing taxes, it's just because the compliance level has been high, and a lot of it has gone into a relationship building between the various taxpayers and KRA themselves. Their views, their mentality, the way they interact with people, by engaging them in a very harmonious relationship.
The global increase in crude oil prices led to increased commodity prices, driving up the rate of inflation. Crude oil prices rose 46.57% in the 12-month period to $73.27 per barrel in December. This saw fuel prices hitting a high in September, occasioning a public outcry that invited debate about the need to subsidize and reduce or abolish levies on petroleum products to make it affordable.
Somebody must be able to tell us, and especially EPRA, what's happening in that sector.
It's very unfortunate that triple that is what Kenyans are paying here, and Ethiopia is a landlocked country. So it is not right for you to come and tell us that the regulations that you're doing is a balanced one.
Clearly, our bills are unsustainable as they are today. We cannot continue this way. So we have agreed with the board on a very aggressive method of reviewing even the billing system at the KPLC to ensure that it not only passes muster, but it addresses some of these challenges that we have.
The government subsidized fuel prices during the months of July and August, as well as in October, November and December. If there had been no subsidy in December, a litre of super petrol in Nairobi would have retailed at a record 148 shillings and 48 cents, diesel at 132 shillings and 49 cents, while kerosene would have cost 127 shillings and 7 cents. The pump prices would have been higher in far-flung areas. Other than fuel prices, commodity prices were impacted by a shortage of ships as well as the Suez Canal blockage in March when a 400-meter-long container ship was wedged in the canal for 6 days. Data shows the stranded ship was holding up an estimated $9.6 billion of trade along the waterway each day. That equates to $400 million and 3.3 million tons of cargo an hour, or $6.7 million a minute. About 12% of global trade, around 1 million barrels of oil and roughly 8% of liquefied natural gas pass through the canal each day. For 2021 End Year Review, my name is Betty Kiptum.